Republic families, Dr. Pierce here. We are here today to bring to you hopefully our third take of the no tax rate increase bond issue. We have really been having a hard time with some of our technology, and we're hoping that we get this the right way for you today. But we're going to share with you some of the details about our no tax rate increase bond issue that's coming up this coming Tuesday, April the 8th. And with me, I've got Dr. Tyler Overstreet, our Assistant Superintendent, and Mr. Jason Perkins, also an Assistant Superintendent. And we're going to give you some of the details about the no tax rate increase bond issue. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Overstreet, and he's going to give you an update.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce, and hello, everyone. Before we begin talking about our current bond project, we're going to review a couple of our past bond projects to share how those have addressed growth in the community and how we made progress on those. So back in 2021, we ran a bond issue for a new early childhood center, which increased the capacity for the amount of preschool students that we can serve in our community. Most recently in 2023, we passed a bond project to purchase land, and on that land we're currently in the final phases of finishing the Republic Intermediate School that will serve grades 5 and 6. And it's important to note that both of those projects were on time and under budget. And so as we begin to move into our hopes for this 2025 bond project, we have a good track record of being on time and under budget. And our previous two bond projects addressed growth in the preschool through 8th grade levels of the district that we have been experiencing in our community. And currently there's a 590 housing unit going in along Highway 74. We're experiencing growth in the southeast part of our district as well, along with multiple multifamily dwellings that are being built. And so our next step is to look at how we can address growth at the high school level for grades 9 through 12. So in looking at a high level overview of the bond project that we are proposing for 2025, that project is going to cover 5 different levels. The first thing it's going to address is the specific growth at the high school through an indoor activities facility that would add an additional 8 to 9 classrooms on that campus. There are several programs that currently have space in the current high school that would move into this new indoor activity facility if it is to pass. And so the second part of this bond project would be to repurpose those current spaces in the high school into 8 to 9 traditional classrooms once they're vacated from. The third phase would be adding window security film to all exterior doors and security vestibules in every building in the district. The fourth part would be upgrading current portions of Republic Middle School, since 6th grade will be moving out of that building in August and into the new intermediate building. We'll be able to repurpose that learning space in the middle school. And then lastly, adding air conditioning in the Price Elementary gym. And so Mr. Jason Perkins, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations, is going to dive into more detail for each of these 5 areas of the 2025 bond issue.
Thank you. So as Dr. Overstreet said, I'm going to take a deeper dive into each one of these issues. And so the first issue we want to look at is the high school expansion project. So as you can see in the slide that there's 3 orange spaces there. The orange spaces on the current main building is where we house some of our larger programs like band, choir, JROTC, wrestling, dance. And so our plan is to take those larger programs and move them out into a 2-story building that will provide larger spaces for them to utilize as they continue to grow. And then once those spaces are moved out into the new wing, then we would have additional space in the old building, in our current main building, to revitalize and repurpose those spaces. And so along with adding these programs out to the new building, we're also going to have 3 to 4 traditional classrooms in that new 2-story wing. So the second exciting piece about the indoor facility is that we have a community room there that's going to be able to seat approximately 150 people at round tables for presentations, activities, banquets. If the community wanted to use that for an event, they could do that as well. It'll have a place that we can serve food out of. It'll have audio visual for presentations. So that's an exciting wing. It'll be down in the front corner of the two-story section. And then, as we talked about before, we're also going to have a 65,000 square foot turfed area, which will be the size of a full football field. And the reason that we're going to do that is because with the growth of all of our student athletics and activities, we're running out of space to have practices. And so by creating this space, it's going to give more opportunities for students to utilize this, but also when there's days of inclement weather or because of heat, we won't have to cancel practice. We'll be able to utilize that turfed area to have practices indoors. And as you can see, here's some photographs of what we believe the indoor activities facility will look like. In the top left corner, you can see the indoor turfed area. And as you notice, it is 120 yards long, which is a full football field. And as we toured some of the schools around us, we noticed that theirs were not quite as large, but as we dove in and asked our activities and our groups and our athletic programs what they needed, what we discovered was groups like band who practice marching season, all marching season on the field. Their marching program goes from like the 15-yard line to the 15-yard line. So for them to be able to utilize the indoor space, we have to have it large. The other thing about that is if in the spring and in the fall, we have multiple programs that practice outside. If we're to have inclement weather or heat, we need to have spaces inside for them. So what this does is in the turfed area, we'll have two curtains that will drop down and will divide the field so that 3 different groups could use that field at one time. As you can see, there's also renderings of what our new band room would look like. The JROTC room, the exciting thing about that is it's going to have 16 shooting lanes in that room for their own marksmanship competitions. They won't be having to schedule with all the other activities in gyms to utilize. They'll have their own space. And then that final picture just shows you what the outside would look like. As you walk out of the back of the high school building and into this building, that would be what you would see. And there's a nice big plaza area. And as we've already discussed, we know that the research shows that it's very important to get students connected to school. And so besides getting them connected through academics, it's extremely important to get them connected to something outside the academic world. And so our goal is with this building is to create a space that's going to allow all students to utilize this to get that stronger connection to school. And so our goal is to have 100% of our students involved in an activity or a club or something outside of the academic world. And currently we have 95% of our high school students are currently involved in something outside of academics. So we just want to continue that and we want to grow that, and so we're going to need the space to allow that growth. So that's one of the main reasons behind this building. So let's move on. So another piece of this is the window safety and security film. And so we're going to put that on all exterior doors and safety vestibules in every single building of our district. And what that film does is it just provides some more protection and some strength and integrity to those windows. And so what it does is it's going to allow us to delay someone trying to get into our buildings, which will then give our law enforcement agencies more response time to help us in the event of someone trying to forcefully enter our buildings. Then as we move the 6th graders transition to the Republic Intermediate School, it will give us time to look at our Republic Middle School and provide some upgrades and some repurposing of those spaces. So we'll spend the next year working with our architects, our staff, our students, and determine what portions of that middle school do we want to attack first, because it's a very large building, and we'll want to be able to do portions of that in a phased situation. For one, it's a large space, but 2, we'll still have classes in there. So we want to make sure that whenever we do those remodels that we're not impacting student learning, but that we're also going to provide them with new spaces that will be exciting and fun for learning. And then a part of that middle school project is upgrading the HVAC system to include the auxiliary gym to have air conditioning. And then the final piece of this project, it would be putting air conditioning in the Price Elementary gym, which is the only elementary in our district that does not have air conditioning in their gym. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Pierce, and he's going to talk a little finance.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Okay, so the price tag estimated for this no tax rate increase bond proposal is $33 million. And again, that is an estimate. We are working with our architects and construction company to mitigate inflation and tariffs. And so we're really trying hard to get in front of that and hoping that we get the opportunity if our measure passes on Tuesday. But we're looking at around $33 million. The no tax rate increase bond issue part of that would fund 22 million, and then an additional 11 million is going to come from interest that we've earned on the bonds from the intermediate school. It's going to come from savings because the intermediate school project is under budget and on time, as we previously discussed, and we've got money in our capital funds account, Fund 4, that our district has. And we keep money in there for big projects or things that we know could fail. So let's say, for instance, a big air conditioner or a big freezer would fail. We always have money in there to make sure that we can cover those things. So we've got the funds in all of those areas to get that additional $11 million to get us 11 plus 22 to that $33 million mark. Okay, we are ready to transition into our questions from our community. And so we have got these submitted to us through the internet, and we're going to dive in and answer the questions that were submitted. And so we'll jump in and we'll answer the first question here, which is, how does a no tax rate increase bond issue work? That is typically the first question I get from just about anybody. And so as a district pays down its debt each year, your bonding capacity grows. And so we are able to, with paying down of debt, to have bonding capacity, and that's where the $22 million is coming from. So general obligation bonds are typically paid back in a 20-year stretch. So if you think about the last 20 years, we're currently paying for our high school. We're currently paying for rooms that were added on to Sweeney and to Lyon. We're currently paying for the early childhood building. We're currently paying for the Sweeney Gymnasium. Also additional rooms and remodeling at Price Elementary. So all those things in the past 20 years we are paying for now. This, if we pass this bond issue, it would extend that debt 2 more years. And again, it's not going to increase our tax rate, but it is going to extend the debt. Instead of being finished at 2020 or 2043, it'll be finished at 2045. So it will add 2 years on to what we're currently paying. All right, a typical next question is, could this money be used to pay teachers more or hire more teachers? And the answer to that is no, it could not. So this money comes from our 94-cent debt service levy, and regardless of whether we say yes or no on Tuesday, the 94-cent debt service levy is not going to change. So teachers and staff are paid out of Fund 1 and Fund 2 in our accounting system. Fund 3 is explicitly reserved for debt service, paying back those buildings and paying back those bonds as we go along. And as I said a minute ago, over the past 20 years we've built several buildings, and so we're continuing to pay on those. Okay, question that was submitted. Are other activities also to be considered with the new update, or are expansion and space opportunities only available for a select few? And the answer to that question is no, they are not only available for a select few. We envision this space being used by as many people, as many students as possibly can. There could be groups and clubs that form that we don't even have right now that are able to use this space in the future. We want to use this space as much as possible. If we are able to build this space, it'll be something that we're very proud of, and that all of our activities, any of our clubs, they will have access to this space. So we're excited to continue to allow our programs to grow and add new programs that can help as many students as possible. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Perkins.
Okay, so our next question is, are we able to create more multi-use space in the main building to benefit a larger variety of classes? And the answer is yes. So as we showed you in the first graphic of the high school expansion project, once we move some of those larger programs out to the indoor activities facility, we'll then have larger empty spaces in the high school that we can look at repurposing and reconstructing and remodeling to meet needs of different varieties of classes, whether they're larger classes, smaller classes. We'll have the ability to create a vision for what we want to see out of those spaces. So yes, we'll have the ability to create more space. So I've heard that some artificial turfs have fillers in them that can cause cancer. I'd like to be sure that the indoor field does not have any carcinogens that would do our kids harm. Can we check on this, please? And the answer is yes. So we have checked on it. We're using the same turf system that we used on our outdoor field, on our indoor field, and the filler in that is called crumb rubber. And there's been over 60 studies done on crumb rubber fill, and there's been no link to cancer with the crumb rubber fill. Also, there's less chemicals in the crumb rubber fill than is required for toys or water through the Consumer Index and through EPA. So, as always, student safety is our #1 concern, and we will always check to make sure that whatever we're putting out there is not going to harm our students or staff. So the next question is, will the new studio space for cheer and dance have adequate height space in order for full stunts to be performed and practiced? The answer to that is yes. One portion of the dance studio is going to be almost the full length of a basketball court, which then will allow them to do their full practice and their full routine inside that practice space. We also envision the cheer team being able to utilize the turf, which will have more than adequate height space on the indoor facility for them to practice all of their stunts. So yes, we'll have adequate height space. These two questions, what is the timeline to complete each of these projects and when can they begin if this passes? So it's two questions. I'm going to give one answer that will cover both of them. So the timeline of these projects include the high school expansion project, or the indoor activities facility, is about a 14-month duration for completion. The air conditioning, the safety window glazing, and the air conditioning at Price, all of those are about a 3-month phase. And then the remodel of the middle school is going to be over probably 2 to 3 years, just because of the sheer volume of that remodel and not wanting to disrupt daily classes as much as possible. So our goal would be that we could begin, if this bond passes, we could begin June 1 of 2025 with all of the projects. And then the completion of the indoor facility would be completed in August of 2026. And then the Price Elementary gym, air conditioning, the middle school air conditioning gym, and then the window safety glazing would all be completed before school started in August of 2025. Okay, I'm going to turn this back over for Dr. Pierce.
All right, thank you, Mr. Perkins. Okay, question. Who can vote on this no tax rate increase bond issue on April the 8th? Any registered voter who is living in our attendance area for Republic Schools is able to get out and vote on Tuesday, April the 8th. And the polls open at 6 a.m. and they close at 7 p.m. So we would like for everybody to get out and vote and support our students and staff. And it is a majority of 57.14% is required to pass. So we need that to be marked yes, and then our initiative will pass. So when you're thinking about what you're going to read on the ballot, is there official ballot language? Yes. There is official ballot language, and it's going to ask you if you are interested in supporting the no tax rate increase bond issue for $22 million. If you answer yes to that, you'll be supporting it. If you answer no to that, you will not be supporting that. Okay, here's the picture that you see there, and check yes for support, check no for opposition. All right, lastly, I'd like to take a moment and review what this proposal would do for Republic Schools. Number one, it's high school expansion, dealing with growth, helping us deal with growth in the 9 through 12 grade span with an indoor activities facility that's going to allow our programs to continue to grow and strive. JROTC, football, band, wrestling, choir, all those are great programs that are growing, and we want to give them room to expand and continue to grow. We're also going to have 8 to 9 new classrooms inside of Republic's high school that we're going to repurpose for educational space. Of course, we've got the window safety security film, and that's going to be on all entry vestibules in every building, and then also in doors around the first floor where you would enter a school building. We've got the middle school updates. We are looking to update our middle school that has been well used and needs some love, and we would do that in phases over time, and then also adding air conditioning to the middle school auxiliary gym. And lastly, we would have the air conditioning at the Price Elementary gym. So in closing, I would like to just encourage all of our people who are watching. I hope that you've seen the district over the past 10 years be responsible with funds that we've gotten from our public, from our parents and community. In the past 10 years, every project that we've done has been under budget and on time. And my hope is that that creates organizational confidence from you to us, and that we do what we say we're going to do. And we take pride in doing that and making sure those projects are completed on time and under budget. And we hope that you'll get out and support our students and our staff as we continue to grow and have growth with additional students in the 9 through 12 space. Thank you for your time. Please get out and support our students and staff on April the 8th, and go Tigers.